Check, this is a good video about it or what? Why, there's no fucking way, right? This is crazy.
Hey, what is up guys? MKBHD up there, 5G network in certain cities, one location at a time. So you can't just get a software update to a 4G phone to just enable 5G. That's right. I'm talking to you, AT&T. Changing people's status bars to say 5GE when it's really just 4G. It's stupid. It's basically a lie. You're kind of trying to trick people into thinking they got 5G. 5GE is not 5G. It's still 4G. It's really a shame. Anyway, 5G is built on what's called millimeter waves. It's a new section of very high frequency spectrum, upwards of 20 gigahertz, all the way to near 96 gigahertz. But the catch is, the higher the frequency of any wave, the lesser the range. Like, that's just the truth on paper. So for the same reason 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi doesn't travel as far as 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, the same reason microwaves don't cook things on the other side of the glass wall, that's the same reason 5G doesn't travel as well through the real world. So millimeter wave's biggest problem is that even if you're standing pretty close to the node, like a couple hundred feet away, it only really travels well within direct line of sight. So things like trees and walls and buildings block and disrupt the high frequency signal, even if you're still close to it. I've heard even that rain in the air could potentially be a problem.
So if you put like a shungite pyramid right here, boys, then you're protected, right?
This is why I wanted to test this for myself. So we drove to Providence, Rhode Island, which is on the growing list of Verizon's 5G cities. It's not the whole city that's one big 5G hotbed. It's only certain areas sort of tucked away. Happens to be near Brown University where we found one of them. And we found it by finding one of these. This is a 5G node, or 3 nodes to be specific, at the top of a light pole. You could tell because it said Verizon right on the pole, and because if you stand right next to it with a 5G phone in your hand and run a speed test, the results are just absolutely ridiculous. The 4G and the notification bar switches to indicate 5G.
So what do you do then? If you're outside, you're like, oh dude, I need to get a new app or something, or I have to download like the entire library of my school books, dude. You go outside, you find a node, and you go home.
And you open up your app of choice and run a speed test, and I'm seeing easy 700, 800, 900, often well above 1,000 megabits per second
Holy
download.
Shit.
Highest result I actually saw in my personal testing was 1.9 gigabits per second, briefly from fast.com. That's just hilariously fast. Like, you could almost use your whole data cap.
That is crazy, dude.
Dreamlike speeds. Very, very nice. Of course, you want to see what this type of speed is actually good for other than a speed test. So YouTube videos just played instantly without any buffering in HD. I could fast forward right off the bat, no problem. Web browsing, of course, would be super fast. Hopping into the Play Store to download a gigantic game.
I know this video, chat. I know this video, but what about people saying like guys, I don't want to sound like a boomer.
Half a block away. And when I waited a minute, I'd suddenly get 5G again and get 1,000 down. So what's the solution?
What about this like
well, as we understand it, basically just
guys like 5G, like mind control, fucking.
So essentially to maximize coverage and improve technology so that when you move behind one obstacle or sort of drive through a city, you actively switch between nodes that you're connected to. Kind of like we do now with 4G towers, but just much faster. And I think that's the part that kind of scares people. It seems like a brute force way to actually go about fixing the problem, but that's the current plan. Just blanket areas with these lower powered cells that let you switch between them very, very quickly instead of one giant 4G tower like you have now. My gut feeling is that an infrastructure where you cover an entire city and eventually an entire country in these little nodes is gonna be incredibly expensive and probably take a very long time, like years. So it's a long way off. But here's another thing to notice. Even with me standing right next to a 5G node and holding a brand new 2019
someone just says 5G is killing birds.
5G phone, there were still some drawbacks to notice. The main 3 are heat, battery, and upload. So for one, the upload appears to still be happening at 4G speed, even when I'm connected to 5G.
Okay, I'm trying to know this. I get it though.
I never broke 100 megabits per second up in all my testing, which is still a great speed.
Okay, holy shit. That was something else, dude.
Almost
Okay.
1 year pog champ.
See, this is a conspiracy thing, dude.
5G. You hear about it in practically every cell phone commercial and how it's going to change the world. But as with many other major technological innovations,
So let me just watch this.
it also has a buzz of conspiracy theories around
My
it.
favorite
Everything
Pepega for
ranging
3
from
months.
5G
Keep
enabled
up the
tiny
grind,
robots that can
xQcl.
control your mind, to the claim that it caused the coronavirus. But are any of these theories actually true? Who even started them? We did some digging to see how much truth
Mind
there is
control.
in all of these 5G conspiracy theories. If you've been listening to Woody Harrelson or sing
The world the first time, all that same time, you can shoot.
your MIA, you might think that 5G caused the coronavirus pandemic. These celebrity posts are being blamed for actual attacks on 5G towers in the UK. These attacks drew a lot of blowback, and Woody Harrelson later took down his post, but MIA's tweets still stand. This conspiracy theory claims that both the rollout of 5G and the first coronavirus cases supposedly happened at the same time late in 2019. This is where our well actually guy kicks in, because there are a few ways in which this conspiracy theory is just flat out wrong. The
No
timing
shit,
is
though.
off, because 5G started rolling out in 2018. So strike one. You could say the theory seems plausible since the virus was first discovered in Wuhan, China, because China had recently deployed one of the world's largest 5G networks. But 5G first came online in both South Korea and parts of the US. That's strike two. So if coronavirus was caused by 5G, it would have been discovered earlier and not in China. And we haven't even gotten to strike three yet.
Okay.
The
I
fact
get it
that
now, chat.
radio
I get
waves
it.
have no
So it's a meme
impact
then.
on a virus's development. Research has proved that the coronavirus is spread through droplets from sneezes and coughs. Radio waves are a form of electromagnetic waves. Come on, people. These are two totally different things. It seems like everything supposedly causes cancer nowadays. But theories about 5G causing cancer have been around since before
It's
5G
nuts.
even launched. It all comes down to the fear of radiation. All radio waves radiate, but that doesn't mean they have a negative impact on human health. X-rays and gamma radiation are ionizing, which means they break apart molecular bonds and
Engineer
damage
I want to
DNA.
know.
This
So
is
you
something
watch the
that's
first one,
well
you watch
known,
the second
but
one?
not
Maybe?
a lot of people know that there are non-ionizing electromagnetic
Okay,
waves.
chat, I'm
These
done.
have
I know this already, dude.
wavelengths that are too long to be able to
get
actually
it, though.
damage the cells in your body. Even the strongest 5G waves are far below the ionizing threshold. There's real-world data to back this up. Although 5G is pretty new, we've had
That was good,
waves
though.
in similar frequency ranges
This
for
is interesting.
decades.
Okay, we'll finish it.
And studies have
It's only 2 minutes
concluded
long.
that these waves don't cause cancer. Do you remember the post that went around on social media saying that hundreds of birds died because of 5G? Yes, there was a series of mysterious bird deaths in The Hague, but no 5G tests were being conducted nearby at the time. You can chalk up this conspiracy theory to social disinformation, which social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have been working to crack down on, especially when it comes to 5G. Can 5G control the weather? Yeah, I wish it could. My vote would be for 75 and sunny every day.
Boys finally got some much needed a bro hot time. Oh yeah. Look at that.
What the fuck? Okay,
Or
please
rather,
stop.
I'd change it for a virtuous cause, like limiting the impact of global warming. So the root of this theory comes from the idea
Why the
that
root
the
of it,
government is
exactly.
using the high-frequency active auroral research program to control the weather. They're using what? HARP. HARP is a facility in Alaska that was built to study the ionosphere. Soon after the facility was built, the government shut down the program
Oh,
and
cool.
transferred its ownership to the University of Alaska. So how does 5G fit into this? According to the tinfoil hats who believe in this theory, the ionosphere is where the so-called 5G satellites are. The only problem is that 5G is a ground-based system. Satellites could eventually be used for 5G connectivity, but at this point, satellites don't offer low latency and are not being used for 5G. This is by far my favorite 5G conspiracy theory. It's not enough to think that 5G can control the weather. Some people think it can be used for mind control. Like we mentioned earlier, 5G waves have no effect on the human health at all. So a
Mind
5G wave by
control.
itself can't be used to control people's minds. But wait, there's more. Some people claim to believe that 5G is used to control tiny robots that are injected into your body through vaccines.
Real.
Now, this theory takes anti-vaxxing to the next level. I feel like I have to reiterate, this conspiracy theory is not true. Because
Am I clicking a
science.
lot?
Yes, science!
We had to set the record straight on the 5G conspiracy theories out there. One, because they're just straight up wrong. And two, because we don't want people to be scared of a technology that has so much positive potential. Hopefully, the next time you hear about 5G, it's about how it's improving the world. as
Why
we
would
know
design
it.
this?
Are there any other 5G conspiracy theories that need debunking? Let us know in the comments below.
That was like a fine video, dude. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, like it wasn't like a, you know?